Hi, I'm Allie, the hands behind the turtle trunk, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet this Amigurumi Heirloom Tomato. If you're following along with the Pregnancy Progress Project, this is week 19, when baby and tomato are both about 6 inches long. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Now let's get started. For today's tutorial, you'll need medium weight yarn in the colors red and green, polyfill stuffing, a 4mm or G hook, scissors, yarn needle, stitch marker, and optional supplies include safety eyes and crochet thread. We're going to start with our red yarn and we're going to make a magic circle. To make a magic circle, we're going to take our tail end and wrap it around our index finger and our middle finger. Going to wrap it around once, bring it to the back of your fingers and cross it over. So now you have 2 strands on your fingers. You're going to take your hook and insert it under the first strand and then grab the second strand, pull it under, flip it up, hold that with your other hand, and then we're going to secure it with 1 chain. Now we have our magic circle and we are going to single crochet 7 inside the circle. 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that is round 1. We're going to take that tail end, pull it tight, and that's just going to close up that hole. So that is round 1. And for round 2, we are going to put 2 single crochets into each stitch around. So working in this first single crochet, we're going to put 1 single crochet. And since we're going to be working in the round and we're not going to be joining at the end, I don't want to lose my spot where I started, so I'm going to take my stitch marker and place it in the very first stitch. And then in that same stitch, we're going to work another single crochet. And then in the next stitch, we're going to work 2 single crochets again. And we are going to repeat that around, working 2 single crochets into each stitch around. And when you get to the end of the round, you should have a total of 14 single crochets around. So now on to round 3. I'm going to remove our stitch marker, and into that first stitch we are going to work 1 single crochet. Place our marker so we don't get lost. And in the second stitch we're going to work 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. And in the third stitch we're going to work 1 single crochet. And in the next we're going to work 2 single crochets. And we're going to repeat that around. 1 single crochet into the next stitch and 2 single crochets in the next. And this is going to help us slowly increase the width of our tomato. So we're just going to repeat that around, 1 single crochet into the next stitch and 2 single crochets into the next. And in our last stitch we're going to work 2 single crochets, and at the end of round 3 we should have a total of 21 stitches around. For round 4, we are going to work 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the second stitch, and 2 single crochets into the third stitch. 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And again, we're going to repeat that around. 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the next stitch. And on our last stitch, we're going to be working 2 single crochets. And at the end of round 4, we should have a total stitch count of 28. For round 5, we're going to continue increasing. So in our first stitch, we're going to work 1 single crochet. In our second stitch, we're going to work 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the next. So 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, 3, and then that fourth stitch, 2 single crochets. Repeat that again, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet into the next one, 1 into the next one, and then 2 in the next one. So we're just going to repeat that around for round 5, 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochets in the next. And in the last stitch, we're going to work 2 single crochets. And at the end of round 5, we should have a total stitch count of 35. So on to round 6. We are going to work 1 single crochet into that first stitch, 1 single crochet into the second stitch, 1 single crochet into the third stitch, 1 single crochet into the fourth stitch, and 2 single crochets into the fifth stitch. I'm going to repeat that, 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the next. We're going to repeat that around for round 6. 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the next. And on the last stitch, we'll work 2 single crochets. And at the end of round 6, we should have a total stitch count of 42. Now we're on to round 7. For round 7, we're going to work 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the next, 1 single crochet into the next, 1 single crochet into the next, and 1 single crochet into the next. And then we're going to work 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So we are working 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the 6th stitch. So 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the next. And we are going to repeat that around for round 7. And on the last stitch, we're going to work 2 single crochets. And at the end of round 7, we should have a total stitch count of 49. And we're going to continue to increase. So in the next stitch, we're going to work 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet into the next, 1 single crochet into the next, 1 single crochet into the next, 1 single crochet in the next, and 1 single crochet in the next. And then we'll work 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So we're going to work 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 single crochets in the next. And we're going to repeat that around. So 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the next. And in the last stitch, we're going to work 2 single crochets. And at the end of round 8, we should have a total stitch count of 56. So now we're on to round 9, and round 9 is going to be our last increase round. So in the first stitch, we're going to work 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet into the next, 1 single crochet into the next, 1 single crochet into the next, one single crochet into the next, one single crochet into the next, one single crochet into the next, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now we have 7 single crochets, and so into the 8th stitch we are going to work 2 single crochets. So we're going to repeat that, 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then to the 8th stitch we're going to work 2 single crochets. And we are going to repeat that around for round 9. And at the end of round 9, we should have a total stitch count of 63. So now that we have the tomato the width we want, now we're going to start working up to get the height. So for round 10, we are just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So that is going to be a total of 63 stitches around for round 10. So I'm just coming up to the end of round 10, and in the last stitch we're just going to work 1 single crochet. So at the end of round 10 we should still have a total stitch count of 63. And now for rows 11 all the way to 20, we are going to continue this same thing. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch around, and at the end of each round we should still have 63. So we're going to do this for another 10 rows, just working 1 single crochet into each stitch around, and that's going to help bring up the height in our tomato without increasing or decreasing at all. So on to round 11, just 1 single crochet into each stitch around for a total stitch count of 63 at the end of the round. And we're going to keep doing this all the way to the end of round 20. So I'm just going to continue this around, and I'm going to catch up with you guys at the end of round 20, where our stitch count should still be 63. So we're just coming up to the end of round 20, and at the end of round 20 we should still have a total of 63 stitches. And now on to round 21, we're going to start decreasing. We're going to start closing up the top of our tomato. So we're going to work 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the second, 1 into the third, 1 into the fourth, 1 into the fifth, 1 into the sixth, 1 into the seventh. And now we're going to single crochet 2 together. So we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, insert our hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on our hook. And that's going to turn 2 stitches into 1 stitch. So we're going to repeat what we just did again. We're going to work 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches, and then single crochet 2 together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then we're going to single crochet 2 together. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. So 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then single crochet 2 together. We're going to repeat that around, and I'm going to catch up with you guys at the end of round 21. And we just have 2 stitches left, so I'm going to single crochet 2 together. And at the end of round 21, our stitch count should be 56. So for round 22, we're going to do a decreased row again. So we're going to single crochet into the first 6 stitches and then single crochet 2 together. So work 1 single crochet into that first stitch, 1 into the second, 1 into the third, 1 into the fourth, 1 into the fifth, and 1 into the sixth. and then we're going to single crochet 2 together. And we're going to repeat that around. So 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then single crochet 2 together. And we're just going to repeat that around for round 22. 2 stitches left, so we're going to single crochet 2 together. And at the end of round 22, you should have a total stitch count of 49. Now before we continue on to round 23, I'm going to add my face. I want to do that before I close up the hole too much. So if you don't want to add a face, you can continue on to round 23, but for now I'm going to stop and I'm going to turn my tomato so where we have been starting and stopping each row is at the back. And I'm going to add my face to the front here. So you want to grab your safety eyes, and I'm using 2 10mm safety eyes, but you can use whatever size you want. So you need the eyes and their backings, and then you're also going to need black crochet thread for the smile. So starting with our eyes, I'm going to place mine between rows 19 and 20. Again, you can place yours wherever you'd like. So I'm going to go between 19 and 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So I'm going to leave about 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches in between. But I'm not going to put my backings on until after I put the smile on. Because sometimes after you put the smile on, you might notice that the eyes, you would like them further apart or closer together. So I'm just going to put on my smile. So I'm going to thread my crochet thread. And I usually do just a V shape with the top of the V right between the eyes and then the bottom of the V, the stitch below. So I'm just going to go up beside the first eye, down to the stitch below, and then up beside the other eye. And we'll just see how that looks and change as necessary. So I actually like how that is, so it's pretty centered between the eyes, 1 stitch down. So I'm happy with that, so I'm going to add the backing to my eyes. Make sure these are nice and tight. There you go, and then I'm just going to secure the smile with a double knot. And I'm not going to do it too tight. And maybe just 1 more knot. Okay, and then since I have a lot of excess, I'm just going to trim that. Okay, flip it back the right way. There's our little smile, and now I'm going to continue on to round 23. So we're just going to continue closing up the top. So for round 23, we're going to work 1 single crochet into the first 5 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to single crochet 2 together. So 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet 2 together. And we're just going to repeat that around for round 23. 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then single crochet 2 together. So I'm just going to continue that around, and I'll catch up with you guys at the end of round 23. So I just have 2 stitches left, so I'm going to single crochet 2 together in the last 2 stitches. And at the end of round 23, we will have a total stitch count of 42. So now we're going to move on to round 24. For round 24, we are going to work 1 single crochet into the first 4 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to single crochet 2 together. We're going to repeat that. 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. 2, 3, 4. And we're going to single crochet 2 together. And we're just going to repeat that around for round 24. 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. And then single crochet 2 together. And I'm going to continue around, and I'm going to catch up with you guys at the end of round 24. Just coming up to the end of round 24, and then the last 2 stitches, I'm going to single crochet 2 together. And at the end of round 24, you should have a total stitch count of 35. And now on to round 25. We are going to work 1 single crochet into the first 3 stitches. So that's 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the second stitch, 1 single crochet into the third stitch, and then we are going to single crochet 2 together. We're going to repeat that. So 1 single crochet into the first 3 stitches, and then single crochet 2 together. We're going to repeat that around for round 25, just working 1 single crochet into the first 3 stitches, and then single crochet 2 together. I'm just coming up to the end of round 25, and then the last 2 stitches I'm going to single crochet 2 together. And before I move on to round 26, I'm going to stop here and start stuffing the tomato just before the hole gets too small. So I'm going to grab a couple handfuls of the polyfill stuffing, just place it right inside. Now the more stuffing you add, the stiffer it will be. The less you add, the more squishy it will be. So it's up to you on how much you want to add. I'm going to stop right here until I close up the hole a little bit more, and then I'm going to add a little bit more at the end just to top it off. So I'm going to carry on to round 26. So for round 26, I'm going to work 1 single crochet into the first 2 stitches. So that's 1. And 1 into the next. And then single crochet 2 together. Then 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then single crochet 2 together. And I'm going to repeat that around for round 26, working 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then single crochet 2 together. I'm just coming up to the end of round 26. So in the last 2 stitches, I'm going to single crochet 2 together. So at the end of round 26, we should have a total stitch count of 21. Moving on to round 27, we are going to work 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then we're going to single crochet 2 together. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then single crochet 2 together. I'm going to repeat that around, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then single crochet 2 together. Coming up to the end, so one single crochet and then single crochet, 2 together in the last 2 stitches. So at the end of round 27, you should have a total stitch count of 14. And before I move on to the next round, I'm just going to finish stuffing the tomato. I'm just going to add another handful or so just to fill it back up. So now I'm moving on to round 28. And round 28 is going to be our last round. So we're just going to kind of finish closing up the top here. So now we are just going to work 7 single crochet 2 togethers all the way around. So in the first 2 stitches, we're going to single crochet 2 together. And in the next 2 stitches, we're going to single crochet 2 together. And again in the next 2, and we're just going to repeat that around for a total of 7 single crochets 2 together, and that's going to bring our stitch count to 7. Just going to do one more in the last 2 stitches. And there we go. So we still have a small hole at the top. So I'm going to remove my stitch marker, and into that first stitch I'm going to work a slip stitch, and then I'm going to cut off my yarn, and I'm going to leave about a 24-inch long tail. And then I'm going to take my hook and pull the yarn through. And then I'm going to take my yarn needle and put that through the yarn needle. And then I'm just going to weave through these final 7 stitches. So weave through each of the 7 stitches. And when you get to the last one, you're just going to pull the yarn tight, and that's just going to close up that hole. Now I guess we're gonna knot it first so it's secure. And then I created a long tail because what I'm gonna do is I'm going to bring it down and cinch it so that my tomato has those little bumps in it. Now if you want just a round tomato, you can leave yours like this, and we're gonna move on to the leaf. So if you want just to keep it like this, like a little ball, you can move on to the leaf. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my long tail and I'm going to bring it down beside the face. Make sure you don't cover up the face. And I'm going to insert it through the bottom and then bring it up back the top. So if you made the bell pepper video, if you followed along with that, we did the same thing, and that's just going to create these little bumps. So now I'm going to go back up the top, down through the bottom, on the other side of the face. Make sure you don't cover up the face. Insert your hook right through the bottom center, and then bring it up back to the top. And you can do this as many times as you'd like to create as many bumps as you like. I think I'm probably going to do, how many do I want to do? I think I might just do one more so that it has the 3 bumps. So one more time, bring the yarn to the back, bring it up through the bottom center, back up through the top center, pull nice and tight, and then I'm just going to create a knot at the top just to secure that. So make sure you're holding down your yarn as you're doing the knot just to make sure it's nice and tight. Okay. Oops. and now I'm going to tie this off. I'm actually just going to weave my end in just a little bit. We're going to add the leaf right on top in the center. So you don't have to worry too much about your end hanging out, but I am just going to weave it in a little bit, and then I'm just going to hide it inside the pumpkin. So I'm going to insert my needle through, bring it down the bottom, and then trim it at the bottom. So then the end is just hiding on the inside. And sorry, I called it a pumpkin. I meant a tomato. Okay, so I'm just going to cut my yarn. So as you can see, it created those little bumps. And now we're going to move on to our leaf topper. So if you want to grab the green yarn, we'll make our leaf. So with our green yarn, we are going to make a magic circle. Chain 1 to secure it, and then work 7 single crochets inside the circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So for round 1, we should have 7 single crochets. And for round 2, we are going to join to the first single crochet we created. So we're going to join with a slip stitch. And now we're going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the second chain from the hook, so right there, we're going to work 1 single crochet, and we're going to single crochet in each chain down here. So 1 into the next, 1 into the next, and 1 into the last. So we just worked 4 single crochets down the chain, and now we are going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So slip stitch. And then we're going to make another one of these little spikes. So we're going to chain 5 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and single crochet into each chain down. 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. And repeat again. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the second chain from the hook, and in each stitch down. 2, 3, and 4. Slip stitch into the next stitch, and make another spike. Chain 5, and this will be our last spike. Single crochet into the second chain from the hook, and work a total of 4 single crochets down the chain. And to end it, we're just going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made. So right at the base of the very first spike, we're just going to slip stitch, tie off our yarn, leaving about a 12-inch tail, just enough so we can sew this on. So about 12 inches. Pull our strand, pull tight. I'm just going to trim the very first tail we had from the beginning. And now I'm going to sew this on top of the tomato. So if you want to grab your yarn needle again, just place this right on top. And you can either sew around each little spike so that they're all sticking down. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew the middle on so that the spikes stick up. So you can do either or, whatever you prefer. But I'm going to leave the spikes sticking up. So I'm just going to thread my yarn needle. and just sew the center of the leaf down to the center top of the tomato, making sure I'm working in both the leaf and tomato to make sure they're tied tight together. Again, making sure I'm working through the tomato and the leaf. That's pretty good, so I'm just going to make sure I have a nice knot at the top, and then I'm just going to hide my end inside of the tomato. So I'm just going to work a secure knot at the top. Then insert my hook right through the center, down through the bottom, and I'll just trim the yarn at the bottom, and the end will be inside the tomato. And there we go, there's our little tomato, our little heirloom tomato. Thank you so much for following along, and I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you a part of the Turtle Trunk family. Leave a like and comment down below and let me know what you thought of this heirloom tomato pattern. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and be sure to tag your photos with the hashtag TurtleTrunkLove so I can see your finished tomatoes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.